I have no idea what a single one of these books are, but they were all chosen for me by book creators, so they have to be good, right? Here's the plan. Each creator who chose a book also filmed a little video recommending it. So for each of the 12 days of Christmas, I'll be opening one book, watching their video, and then rating the book based on its first 3 chapters. Enough yapping, it's time for our first book, and I think we're gonna start with my fantastic friends over at the Fantasy Fangirls podcast. Before I play you guys their video, I do want to say, for the record, I think I know what their book is. Let's see if I'm right.
Hi everyone!
Hi.
Thank you so much, Gavin, for including us, and we hope you all like our rec. From the get-go, this book and its world just really draws you in, and in fact, you might even be feeling a little thirsty. Speaking of thirsty, the male main character.
Okay, pause. You guys may know this, but I am a massive fan of MMCs, and that's definitely because I heavily relate to these MMCs. I mean, we're basically the same person. But characters like Xaden and Rowan Whitethorn, these are the characters that make me really enjoy stories. Like, obviously, I love the main characters, but Xaden Riorson, I mean, he's such a cool character. Come on. So if this book has a strong MMC, I'm already 1 foot into a 5-star rating.
He says bad human, which, just trust me, my favorite is swallow.
Swallow.
Plus, there are some diehard side characters that you simultaneously want to hug and punch in the face.
Okay, good. Seems well-rounded.
And there's a fuzzy friend. Get away. All right.
Okay.
Are you ready to hear what the book is?
Quicksilver.
By Callie Hart. Enjoy your read and happy holidays.
I do it.
Of course,
I knew
a
it.
feral New Year.
I knew it. I'm a genius. What do I know about Quicksilver? Well, for one, I had no idea it was this thick. This is a massive book. This is somebody's lifetime, okay? This is a human being's entire existence in this book. It is, let's see, 600 pages. And apart from what Lexi and Nicole said, I have no idea what goes on in this book. So I think I'm gonna go read the first chapter and then come give you my opening thoughts, and then I'll read the next 2 and we'll give it a final rating. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. It's a very chapter. Interesting things happen in this chapter, especially the whole opening sequence, but after that, there isn't anything that's making me need to read this book apart from the video, right? I am by no means shunning this book, okay? I'm just saying that like the many romantices before it, it's probably gonna take a couple chapters for me to fall into. So put away your pitchforks. It's okay, you don't have to come after me. It's 1 chapter, okay? Let me go read the next 2 and then we can have a civilized conversation. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I still haven't met the MMC, but we are getting somewhere. I've come to the conclusion that if I'm reading a book with 600 pages, I should probably give it maybe double the amount of chapters because most of those are 300-page books. But it's too late, and here we are, so we're just gonna go with it. Before I say anything else, I wanna make it very clear that I do actually wanna read the rest of this book. Those 3 chapters were definitely enough to make me interested. They just weren't enough to blow my mind. Now, all of that being said, if you read the blurb on the back that's marketing this book, none of this, not a single thing in this blurb has happened in the first 3 chapters. So I'm not entirely sure I can even give this a fair rating. This is everything we know from the blurb. Our daring FMC comes face to face with death. Like the actual guy, the one who collects dead people. What does death even do technically? Does he transport them or does he kill him? I don't really know how that works. And then she inadvertently opens a portal to the snowy world with Fae, and our MMC is apparently this powerful Fae male that she accidentally binds herself to. I don't know, it seems like she's very clumsy, to be honest. Mistakenly opening a portal to another world, accidentally binding herself to a hot Fae man, forgetting to like and subscribe, which might be the worst, honestly. So I can give the first 3 chapters of this book 3 stars. Not a lot happens, but if we factor in general audience opinion and the blurb, I can confidently give this 4 stars. Now, before you start writing your hate essay in the comments, let me explain to you why 3 stars is good. See, the star rating you have in your mind is wrong. The great wide world, and by that I just mean book creators, have made you believe that 3 stars is basically a 2 or 1 star rating. But it's not. 3 stars is quite literally the middle. If a book is rated 3 stars, that means it was very book. Nothing made me fall in love, but nothing made me stop reading either. And as far as a 600-page romantasy goes, 3 stars for the first 3 chapters is pretty good. I mean, come on. I can safely say this is going on my 2025 TBR, okay? I promise. But now, seeing as I do have a live stream to do today, I'm gonna shove this hot MMC into your face, and I'll see you in 2 seconds for day 2 of Bookmas in the Veil. Good morning, everybody. It is time for our second book, and you know what? I'm not gonna keep you waiting. I won't. Let's see what Skye Reads has to say.
Hi, I'm Skye, and the book I chose is Night Strider by Sophia Slade.
Night Strider.
And I actually had the opportunity to ARC read the indie published version of this book back in 2022, I think.
Okay.
And then later on this year, I got to read the traditionally published version, and I loved the book both times, like absolutely adored it, and
awesome.
I need more people to know about it.
Reread value is important. I'm a big rereader. I've read Fourth Wing 4 times, I think, since I first read it.
Night Strider takes place in such a beautifully written dark fantasy world that's split by 2 realms. One is called the Wake, which is your average fantasy world, and then the other realm is called the Reverie.
The Reverie. Oh, the Reverie. That word is amazing. That's a good word.
Our main character is named Ren, and she is quite literally a nightmare. She's extremely powerful and reminds me a lot of Manon's character in Throne of Glass.
I love Manon. Manon is my goat. Manon is my favorite character of all characters, okay?
This book has such a unique magic system. It has double enemies to lovers.
Double enemies to lovers.
It has incredible world building, and I quite literally fell in love with this book. I fell in love with the world, I fell in love with the characters, I fell in love with all of it. Also, I think this is such a fun video idea, so thank you, Gavin, for inviting me to be a part of it.
Thank you for taking part.
And I hope you enjoy Night Strider as much as I did.
Honestly, based on your description, Skye, it sounds like it's up there for me. It sounds right up my alley. Like, double enemies to lovers is crazy. So let's open her up. Okay, that was embarrassing. Look at that. Ooh. Oh, wait. The cover is awesome. She's like Batman, except she's a woman and there's no bats involved. So she's Batwoman, except there's still no bats involved. You know what? She's her own character, all right? She's her own unique person. I'm sorry. I just saw the cape-like shape and I was like, yo, it's the Dark Knight. I'm such a nerd. So you guys know, since yesterday, I have decided that I'm going to start reading all 3 chapters first and then talking to you. As for the book itself, I once again know nothing about it apart from what Skye told us. I have never even heard of this book. And honestly, I'm pretty happy about that because I was kind of worried that it was going to all be super popular titles that I've heard of, but so far, 1 for 2. Anyways, let's read the first 2 chapters. Whoa, okay, this is a good book. So the prologue establishes those 2 worlds that Skye mentioned, and it does it in such a great way. It doesn't feel like an info dump at all, which in a fantasy book is always appreciated. I've noticed a lot of fantasy I love even just has a lot of like front-loaded world building that's really, really boring, but honestly, it's done really smooth here. Basically, there was an evil king who was kidnapping people called Weavers. He has this special ability that lets him pass between the worlds, and since he is 1, evil, and 2, seemingly completely irresponsible, he keeps leaving these pathways open, which is not ideal and I imagine causes some issues. So apparently the reason he's hunting down these Weavers is because they are protecting this girl who has the same ability as him. Now, I have no idea if he wants to kill her or recruit her or what, but he's looking for her. And considering that, once again, he is evil, I would imagine that his intentions are less than great. These first 3 chapters are all 3 different POVs, and I am happy to report they're all really good. I have read books before, and I'm not name dropping 5 Broken Blades, but I'm definitely name dropping 5 Broken Blades, where the POVs just don't feel equal, so some chapters just feel like the waiting rooms for other chapters. In this book, the king's POV was just as interesting as I don't know how to pronounce her name. And her POV was just as interesting as Ren's. And I saw that the next chapter, the next POV, is someone called Prince Cain. And that sounds like an MMC if I've ever heard of one. So I might keep reading this book this month, to be honest. I might try to finish it before 2025. It has checked every box of interest for me and it's almost instantly pulled me in. So based on those first 3 chapters, I can give this book confidently 4 stars. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the end it's a 5-star read. It's giving me those 5-star vibes. And while I could go do more productive things like edit this video or live stream or record some shorts, I think I'm gonna go read more of this book actually. So I'll see you in a couple seconds. It's a new day and it's a new dawn. So what's next? This beast is next. Look at this. Now, I do want to say this is clearly more than 1 book. I had a third party order these books for me so they would stay a surprise, and that was my mother, and you'll see her later in the video. But the point is, she said that the full box set was actually only $5 more than the single book, so why not get the full set? And that's fair. I totally agree with that. And today's book is special because all the way from Valaris, Cassian himself is suggesting me a book. So let's see what Stephen Walker has to say.
Yo, Gavin.
What's up, Stephen?
Gavin.
Steven!
What up, Big G? People call you that?
Big G, I'll take it.
Start doing that.
I'll take that.
Start a trend.
We should do that.
Big G, I got a book for you.
What book?
This is one of my favorite books / trilogies.
Okay, trilogy. I
of
like
all
that.
time. For several reasons. It has my favorite female protagonist ever. Her name is Delilah Bard. She's like a cutthroat pirate chick. She's small.
I have a guess.
Tiny.
I have a guess.
So powerful. Like a stick of dynamite, you know what I mean? And then it has a nice main MMC. Is that what they're called? MMC? I'm still learning the lingo.
Yes, you're correct.
Anyway, the book is fantastic. I love the author's writing style.
Pause. I can see him holding it off camera, but I can't see what it is, and it's driving me crazy.
And it sucks you in instantly. It's very original in many ways. The book is this. A darker shade of
yes! Pause. Wait, pause. I've actually wanted to read this so bad. Wait. Hold on, Steven, you win. Steven wins, guys. Steven wins the video.
Check it out.
I will.
I know you're gonna like
I will.
it. By V.E. Schwab.
I am.
He's a fantastic. This video is too long. What are we doing with our lives? Anyway, check this book out.
What are we doing with our lives, indeed? And now I am so excited. What the heck? Now you can probably tell that the wrapping is totally ripped. That is definitely not because while I was stacking all the books, I just dropped this on the floor. And you definitely aren't going to be able to see that on the blooper reel that I'm going to post on Patreon next week. But yeah, let's open this baby up. Let's do it. I love them. I love them. Oh, this is a good sign. This is a good sign. Nothing makes me happier than a trilogy that starts short, gets a little bit longer, and then ends the length of the first 2 books combined. Yes! I'm actually so excited for this. What the heck? Anybody notice that the cover kind of looks like Cole Sprouse? Can we throw it up there? Doesn't he look like Cole Sprouse a little bit? Totally unrelated, but just interesting little tidbit of information. I'm trying to remember what I know about this book apart from what he said, but to be honest, I can't remember. All I know is that when I read the blurb for this one, I remember being like, oh, that sounds really, really good. I should put that on my TBR right now. So that's probably a good sign. I don't know. I want to read this right now, so I'm going to stop talking and you're going to watch the camera slowly zoom in on me as I read this and lose my mind. Bye! This book has effectively and completely lived up to my expectations. Oh my god, it's so good. So far, we've been following a character named Kel, who's what's known as an Antari. Now, what does that mean? Blood magic, and one of his eyes is completely pitch black. Oh yeah, and he can also travel between worlds. In these worlds, there are different Londons. For example, Red London is a stable, magical empire, whereas Grey London is a magicless, chaotic city. Oh, it's so cool to talk about, and barely anything has even happened. All this guy has done is gone between 2 worlds, talked to royalty, and gone to a bar. That's it, and I still love it so much. V.E. Schwab's writing style just sucks you in. It is so good. This book in particular kind of reminds me of The Night Circus a little bit, just writing-wise, and one of my favorite parts of The Night Circus, which was a 5-star book for me, was the writing style. And also, all of V.E. Schwab's ideas are so unique and awesome. The only book of hers that I've read before was The Secret Life of Addie LaRue, which I did DNF, but wait, I did really love the premise. I just was super invested in the present day part of the story, and every other chapter she would go into the past, and I didn't really care about the past because I was like, the past happened already. The present is happening now. What's going on in the present? So I just kind of got annoyed every time there was a time jump. Plus, I was on vacation in Canada, so I had a lot going on day to day. So I have a lot of excuses, but I did love the premise of Addie LaRue. It was awesome, so it's definitely a book I do want to revisit in the future. I just have to find a better time to do it. But I'm getting off topic. The only characters we've met so far are Kel and these royalty characters who I don't think are going to play a massive role in the story. We are yet to actually meet Delilah Bard. I'm not sure which chapter we do, but she's going to be in here somewhere. Now, this might be because I'm a hopeless romantic, but I am kind of like, romance, maybe, perchance, maybe, but we'll see. If I'm being totally and 100% honest with you, which I am because I'm always authentic, the first 3 chapters of A Darker Shade of Magic are 5 stars. Seriously. I want to keep reading it right now, and the only reason I put it down was because I had to record this video. I am in love with this book, and I am so happy I have all 3 of them. I'm so happy. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. All right, I'm gonna walk over there, and the next time you see me, it's gonna be a different day. Okay, and oh, I should take the actual book. Obviously, I'm gonna go read it. Bye. Well, good morning to all of you. What? I'm allowed to wear the same outfit twice. Come on, it's been a couple days. Today's book is a little bit different. See, not only did I get a bunch of creators involved in this video, but I got a couple of you audience members as well. So today is our very first audience picked book, and it was selected by Taytor, a member of our Discord community. She says, if you loved To All the Boys I Loved Before, but wanted to know what would happen if it was hate mail instead of love letters, this book is for you. It's got all the drama and witty banter needed for a good high school romantic book. Okay, so I'm uncultured and I have not read or watched To All the Boys I Loved Before. Wait, is there even a show of that? There is. There's a movie. Okay, we're good. But let's open it up and see. This tape is insanely strong. Oh, the cover is so pretty. I hope this doesn't find you by Anne Liang. Look at this cover. Flip the camera for a second. Look at that. It's so pretty. I don't want to look at any of the reviews, the blurb, nothing. I'm just going to dive right into this and tell you what I think. Is this Wattpad fanfiction? No. Does it read like Wattpad fanfiction? Yeah, it kind of does. Do I still intend on continuing to read it regardless of that? Also, surprisingly, yes. There were certainly moments in these first 3 chapters that felt a bit cringeworthy, but it feels kind of like a junk food book. It's not Shakespeare or Sarah J. Maas, but it is an entertaining roller coaster of odd things happening that is interesting enough to keep you turning the pages. Basically, our FMC is a high school senior who has placed herself in a secret competition against the most popular, smartest guy in her class. Are you smelling romance? Because I'm smelling romance. The problem is the FMC is kind of exhausting to read because she holds herself to such high, unrealistic standards, and the MMC so far just seems like a jerk. Like, not even like a charming enemies to lovers jerk. He just seems like an asshole. But I will say, right where I left off in this book, it started getting pretty interesting, because that's when the plot starts plotting. See, our FMC is obsessed with how other people see her, but that does not mean she likes them. In fact, she dislikes them so much that she's been writing hate mail. Of course, she has no intention of sending this hate mail, but like a total idiot, she actually writes it in her email drafts. Why wouldn't she just use like a paper journal like the rest of us? Or even like a Word document or Google Doc? Why would you write it in the messaging app? How can you be the top student and still be this stupid? Our MMC dropped a line so good that it flipped my entire opinion of him in a single sentence. Goosebumps rise over my bare skin. I think you're obsessed with me, Sadie Wen. Damn! Damn, that's fire! So, despite me probably giving it 2 stars for just the writing style and how the characters are in those first 2 chapters, chapter 3, things start picking up, start getting interesting, start getting charming and cute. So, I think I'll give it 3 stars. I'll give it 3 stars. It definitely still reads like it was written on AO3, but, you know, there's some good fan fiction over there, okay? Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go spend the rest of this day reading Quicksilver. So, I'll see you soon. Soon has arrived, and you may have noticed, Gavin, you look so pale today. Yes, this is true. It's because I'm wearing blue and white, which are both colors that look very bad with my skin tone. But it's very wintry, and so I felt like doing it anyways. But that is why I look like a Twilight vampire, but less hot. Anyways, today we get to see what the wonderful booktuber Katie Witruk has to recommend.
Hello everybody, I'm Katie.
Hello.
And hi Gavin. I'm so excited to be choosing one of your books today. The book I chose for you is a literary fiction, and it is so unique. It's literally like no other book that I've ever read. It's so enticing and intriguing and just tells real raw stories of these characters.
I'm scared.
Who you really shouldn't love because they're so flawed, but they're so human that you just cannot help but love them. This book is set in the 70s and it follows a famous rock band and how they came to be that famous rock band. I love this book so much. I recently reread it, but I listened to it on audio and it was such a great audio experience as well. And I know this book is so incredibly popular, but it will forever be one of my favorites, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love this book so much. These characters mean so much to me.
I've heard of this.
I really hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you so much for taking part. I know that I've said I'm nervous multiple times, but literary fiction in the 70s with the rock band sounds like drama and stress and sadness. But let me grab the book. It is in here somewhere. I have definitely heard of this book before, and I'm actually super excited for this because literary fiction is not a genre I usually read, and I was hoping with this video I'd get to branch out a bit. Now, I did not know this book was by the author of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, another book I've heard amazing things about, and I know my mom read and loved, so she has good taste. I get my taste from my mom. It's a genetic thing. That being said, I do read a lot of like trashy romantasy books that are just junk food reads that I don't think she would enjoy very much. She did like Fourth Wing though, so, you know, who knows? And now I'm gonna go read 3 chapters. This is not what I was expecting. It's really weird because like it is written kind of like interview format, and so I didn't realize that this was, when you say literary fiction, fiction. I was thinking more like historical fiction, so like it's based off of real people, but it isn't. And I only found that out after I Googled her and I found out she was a fictional character. And then I was like, what? And then after that, I was like, why would the author write a fictional book in an interview format? That's weird. And it is weird, but somehow it's really interesting. And I don't know how or why, because it doesn't seem like something I would like whatsoever, but I kind of do. And like I said earlier, I've heard that The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is very good. And so, you know, maybe I should give that one a try as well at this point, because if this author can take a weird format and a story that's usually not up my alley and make me interested, I mean, what can she do with a story that does interest me? Like that's like, I'm curious now. So this book is basically telling the story of Daisy Jones and the Six, and Daisy Jones is this like bombshell beauty musician from the 70s, and her band made one amazing world-changing album and then broke up. And that's basically, this entire book like tells the story of them. And the reason I actually Googled this and found out that she's not real, because I'm just a dumbass, is that she was being described as like the most beautiful person on earth. And so I was like, I need to see what this person looks like, because now I'm curious. And then I looked it up and there was no one there, and I was like, oh, I see. But yeah, I don't know. It's good. It really does paint a great picture of the 70s. you know, with the questionable morals and drugs and all that stuff. So, you know, if you're interested in that time period, this is definitely something you should read if you haven't already. I feel like most of you who like literary fiction have probably already read this. I am aware that I'm the odd one out, but this is definitely a book that I think I'm gonna actually continue reading. It's like a fictional biography, and I don't really like biographies, but still, I'm curious about it. So, you know, we're gonna keep going. I would give this, honestly, those first 3 chapters 3 or 4 stars, because like, especially maybe 4 stars, just because this isn't something that's normally up my alley and I'm still interested anyways. Taylor Jenkins Reid, I feel like you know what you're doing and you should probably keep writing books. So thank you again, Katie, for suggesting this. I am so glad that you have broadened my horizons a little bit. As for the rest of you viewers, I think it is about time for me to flip the channel to the next day, because tomorrow we have a little bit of a special day. Say hi to Daisy Jones and I'll be right back. I imagine you're probably wondering why today is special. And for that, I have a very simple answer. See, it's the first of 2 interesting days, where not only do we have a book to open, but we also have a bookish Christmas present to open as well. See, today's book was chosen by one of my Discord moderators and friends, Mariana. Package opening ASMR. That's probably just way too loud, to be honest. Yo! There's cozy socks in here. Look at these. The camera is making them look luminescent, but I'm not sure if this is part of the gift or if this was just included in the package because it was like from Etsy. That's awesome. My feet could probably fit in these. Hold on. I'm not going to show you my feet because I'm not weird. Wait, they actually fit surprisingly decently. Foot check. We've got ourselves some stickers, 2 magnetic bookmarks. This mushroom one is very cute. Some cool dark tone tabs and hot chocolate. But now let's see what the blind date with the book is. And I think what's really exciting about this is because it is blind. I have no idea what's going on here. I don't know. I don't know if she could pick or if it's completely randomized. I really don't know. I feel bad undoing this beautiful wrapping job. Ooh, Mountain Made of Glass, a fairy tale retelling by Scarlett Sinclair. Scarlett Sinclair, where do I know that name from? Hold on. Oh, she wrote A Touch of Darkness. Obviously, what's going on with my brain? So wait, what is this? What is this a retelling of? From what I can gather, it seems like it takes a bunch of elements from all these different fairy tales, but it is primarily a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which I love me my Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's my favorite fairy tale. So I'm pretty excited for this. I've been meaning to read A Touch of Darkness. I have it back there, but I haven't gotten to it yet. So to be honest, I might start here because fantasy is, I like fantasy. So thank you, Mari. Merry Christmas. Your gift's in the mail. But now it is time for our 12 Days of Christmas book.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
My
Mari.
name is Mari. I'm Gavin's Dark Romance Reader mod.
You do love dark romance.
Thank you, Gavin, for including me in this. I'm so excited for this. I chose a dark romance book because you need to start this genre, and I'm not taking a no for an answer.
That's fair. That's fair. I've been meaning to start dark romance for a long time. I have a couple of them back there that I just haven't touched.
It's contemporary, yes.
Okay.
I know.
I'm not a big contemporary reader yet.
But you have to read it. It feels like a part of my family. I miss those characters so freaking much.
Okay. I hope this isn't too messed up of a story because I'm gonna make fun of you so much.
And I just love it so much. And the book that I recommended is Corrupt by Penelope Douglas.
Oh no, it's Penelope Douglas. Sorry. She's the one that has the incest book, isn't she?
I hope you enjoy it, and I cannot wait for your reaction. Happy holidays!
I'm being hard on her on purpose, okay? We're friends, it's okay. The back says, Erica Faye knows her boyfriend's older brother is handsome, strong, and completely terrifying. I'm nervous. This book feels like it's gonna deal me physical damage. I'm being too mean. I'm messing around. I am curious about this because I have not read any dark romance before, technically. And to be honest, I've even heard that Credence is good, you know, jokes aside. So I'll give you a chance, Mari. I'll give the book a shot. Let me go read 3 chapters and see what I think. So the tension is tensioning and I have been informed this book does not contain the cheating trope, so that's good. Now from the get-go, this is very adult. This is a spicy book, so just know, take the trigger warnings at the start of this book very seriously, and there is a very extensive list of trigger warnings. So the problem I have with this book is that it's not bad. Like, I kind of want to keep reading it. Dark romance scares me a little bit. Some of the books in this genre are very problematic, I would say. And being a man, you know, I am concerned that if I enjoy the story of a book, that means it's gonna label me as a creep, even if I don't condone any of the messed up stuff that happens. So I am nervous about reading books in this genre. That being said, there's a reason that dark romance is such a popular genre. They're written with the explicit intention to make you addicted, so you have to finish it and see what happens. And I would say Corrupt falls in this category very well. Like, I am very curious to see what's going on with these two characters because the tension is insane. If you like dark romance and haven't read Corrupt, I would definitely say read this. And if you're curious about the genre, this could be a good stepping stone for you. I would personally recommend Hooked. Hooked is probably one of the more mellow dark romances. Still dark romance, but more mellow than other ones. And maybe this would be a good second book to read after Hooked if you enjoyed it. But you know, like I said, the trigger warnings are very clear. Messed up stuff happens, and if you are under 18, do not even consider reading this book. Seriously, okay? It does not make you a cool person to read these books. Just go listen to rock music or something. Now, as for my rating based on the first 3 chapters, I do have to say, I probably give it 3 stars. Did it make me uncomfy? Yes, it definitely did at times. Is the romantic tension written really well? Also, very much yes. Will I keep reading it? Yeah, probably. And that's all I really have to say about it. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it because of spoilers and adult themes, but if dark romance is your thing, then this book is definitely your thing as well. Now, thank you to Mari, and I'm gonna walk up camera for day 7. I have returned, and it appears to be day 7. And our second special day, because today's pick is from my friend and moderator, Evelyn. If you're still wondering what I mean by moderator, they're basically my staff members on my Discord server where we have our book club and, you know, a bunch of different community events. You can find that in the description. Anyways, it's pretty funny actually because the gift is massive and the book is like the smallest book in the entire stack. This is so heavy, and I think clearly it has to be hardcover books, right? It has to be more than... Wait, are you guys seeing that? Is that a sprayed edge I see? Is that a second sprayed edge I see? Oh my god, 2 sprayed edges? This is crazy. I'm being spoiled. Okay. I need to let you guys in on a little secret. My friends have it easy when it comes to gifts because I'm very public, I'm very open about a lot of stuff because I'm a creator. And one of those things happens to be my love for Fourth Wing because I have 6 editions of it from across the world. I even have a copy from Japan. And it looks like my collection grows because these appear to be the Spanish special editions of Fourth Wing. Oh my god. This is Fourth Wing in a beautiful purple. I mean, look, I mean, this is the best color in the world. Look at these edges, bro. Oh my gosh. And then we also have a red iron flame with the edges. I don't understand how I love this book so much that I can keep getting different copies in languages I cannot even read. Oh, there's a bookmark. I didn't know there was a bookmark. See, I can't even read any of these words. I have a rudimentary knowledge of Spanish. I took 3 years of it and then did a month study in Guatemala. But, oh my gosh. There's art on the insides, dude. Oh my gosh. Well, Evelyn, I think that you did quite a good job. If you guys are interested in seeing the full editions along with all my other Fourth Wings, I'll be posting those all on my Instagram, so you can check that out up there. But wow, my collection grows. My goal in life is to have the most comprehensive collection of Fourth Wing in history. That's actually not true. My real dream in life is to make enough money to financially support myself making videos online. But I think the book one is slightly less embarrassing. If I talk about Fourth Wing for too long, that'll be the entire video. So we do have to open this little itty bitty tiny little book. And I have a feeling this is gonna be a classic, but who knows? Let's watch her video and see.
Hi, Gavin.
Hi.
So you know I'm a spooky girl.
Yes.
We both know you are the complete opposite.
I am. I hate horror. Horror is my least favorite thing in the entire world, and somehow my entire moderation team are all horror fans. I don't know how this happened, but you know what? Whatever.
We also know that I love classics. And you rather read anything than that because they feel like school books.
They do feel like school books.
But what if I told you that you can read school books?
Why would I? What is that argument? I don't want to read school books. I'm out of school.
Yeah, school books. But make it spooky and fun at the same time.
I don't like spooky. What are you talking about?
Hear me out.
No, I don't want to.
It's a little bit spooky just to get you started on the genre.
It's a book. Scary books are a little bit different, I will admit. Okay, scary movies, actually, to be honest, scary games and scary books are different in my brain than scary movies.
It's also a classic, of course. But it's also a very clever murder mystery, full of suspense. Also, besides that, I added a small gift for you there.
Is this the gift?
That I hope you enjoy.
Small gift.
And thank you so much for including me in this. Bye.
Thank you for taking part, Evelyn. Appreciate it. Crazy that you would call these Spanish special editions of Fourth Wing a little gift, but you know what? To each their own. And now let's see what this book is. I'm trying to think. It's a classic, it's a murder mystery, and it's a little bit spooky. So my first thought is Murder on the Orient Express. I don't know. My second thought is maybe Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I don't actually, I mean, let's just open it up. Let's see. I haven't read, I haven't read either of those. I've read a little bit of Frankenstein once, but I never finished the entire book. All right, let's see. Oh, it's Agatha Christie, and then there were none. Okay, so I have not read this, but Agatha Christie is the queen of mystery, and she's also the author of Murder on the Orient Express, so I was definitely on the right track there. So I think all there is for me to do is to open the book and give it a read. And it is a used copy because it's pretty old, and it smells like perfume, so it kind of smells like Sprite soda, actually. That's weird. I'm just gonna go read it. Is there a chance I was wrong about classics? No, of course, yeah. Yeah, there is. Funnily enough, I did actually give a different classic a try recently. Since it's the holidays, I wanted to try A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens for the first time. And to my dismay, both of these school books were pretty damn good. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, my elderly brain is somehow making old text make sense now. Basically, this book is about 10 people who were summoned to a private island to be guests at the mansion. Not a single one of them knows who summoned them, and when they arrive, the mysterious millionaire is nowhere to be found. And then they begin to die, one by one, in a manner that is very similar, suspiciously similar to a nursery rhyme that's all over the mansion. It's dark, it's intriguing, it is certainly Agatha Christie. And at this point in the video, I'm starting to get concerned because every single book I've read these past few days, I have wanted to read and put on my TBR. So I have a lot to do in 2025. 4 stars for the classic, and I never thought I would say that. It is time for another audience book rec. And this time it's coming from a member of our book club, Ava. I can already tell it's a hardcover. I like my hardcovers. So let's see what she has to say. Did you love Avatar: The Last Airbender growing up as a kid? Yes, I did. Did you have a special place in your heart for Zuko? Yes, I did. He's the best character ever written. Then this book will be perfect for you. It's about a girl who discovers she has the elemental magic of air. There is magic and sorcery that's all surrounded by 4 elements in a gripping story of a kingdom that has its own secrets. There's also a great enemies to lovers romance in the series. So you're telling me Avatar: The Last Airbender with Zuko and enemies to lovers romance? Ava, I think you might have picked the perfect book. Let's see what we're working with. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's back. Oh, Air Awakens by Elise Kova. Look at that cover. It is so pretty. Now, maybe I'm crazy, but holding this book and opening it up and seeing how tight the binding is, this feels like an indie published book. Tell me if you feel the same, but when you get an indie published book, there's a very specific way it feels. Maybe it's because they all use similar companies. I'm not sure, which I have no problem with whatsoever, just noticing that. It looks pretty good, and I always love a good cover design, okay? Everybody says don't judge a book by its cover, but I admit I frequently judge books based off their covers. If you're not gonna have an awesome cover, why should I read your book? It's like thumbnails for YouTube videos, okay? People aren't gonna watch the video unless they click on it the first time. That being said, I'm not 100% sure about the thumbnail in this video. I was struggling for a bit there, so I hope you liked it and you're still watching. And the book's dedication is all a bunch of usernames, so I'm assuming this was written online first and then it got enough funding to be published officially, which is super awesome. Congratulations to the author. And the same thing keeps happening with every book. I know like nothing about it. I'm so happy people are choosing books I don't know. All I can do is read it now. So let's dive into the world of definitely not Avatar: The Last Airbender. I need to stand up for this one. 5 stars, okay? It is 5 stars. Now, for fairness' sake, I must admit my bias. I listened to the audiobook for this one, and it just so happens that the narrator for Air Awakens is my favorite audiobook narrator. She narrated Keeper of the Lost Cities and The Cruel Prince. So there was totally bias. But if she was narrating a bad book, the book would still be bad. So here's what we're working with. Vala Jarl is a simple librarian's assistant until one day she gets the good old cloth anesthesia treatment and wakes up in a tower with a sorcerer. In this kind of situation, someone like you or me might wake up and be like, magic exists? What the heck? But in her case, it's more of a, whoa, sorcerer. Similar to Sorcery of Thorns, another book that I love, librarians are deathly scared of sorcerers. But you know what's even more scary? What if you're a librarian and a sorcerer? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so great book so far, and I can already taste the enemies to lovers. I mean, it's just tiny grains right now, but it's there. I can tell it's there, and I know where we're going. And I love it. Plus, I'm so happy to find another promising series by this narrator. Caitlin Kelly, you were so good at your job. Please never stop. So, 5 stars to Air Awakens. Good job, Elise Kova. You wrote a good book. And tomorrow, we have a special guest. So get Air Awakens. It is now tomorrow, which means we have a special guest. And this wonderful human is here in person now. I was gonna have her walk on camera, but she does not want to walk on camera. So in a moment, she's just gonna appear right there. So this is my wonderful mother. She not only birthed me, but she also helped with this video by ordering all these books for me. And if you ask me, those 2 achievements are equal in status. So you chose one of the books for this video. Are you not gonna talk?
No, I'm gonna talk. Hello, everyone.
What are you doing? So, why did you pick this book?
I picked this book because I have been wanting Gavin to read this book for how many years?
More than 2, less than 5.
For 5 years. A little story about me. I love to read, and I read maybe 4 books a week. Gavin loves to control what I read by sharing
Good books.
even ordering me books from the library under my name to have delivered.
Good books. You read
I read a lot of the books
You do.
that he has suggested.
Not the sequel to ACOTAR, though, interestingly.
That is in my future. I have asked Gavin to read 2 books in my life, maybe. This is one. And
You're
he
exposing me out here.
has yet to read it. However, now he has to read it.
Yeah, I do have to. It's a requirement.
I'm on this little, I don't know where the camera is. I'm on this little, in this little car is me.
I'll have it pop up.
It says, from my beloved mother.
This is true.
That's me. What I love about this book and why I've wanted him to read it, the effort that had to go in to the thinking of how this book would play out blows my mind. It is a time traveling book.
I love time
that's
travel.
another book that I just thought that
Wait, just
Gavin
not-
needs to read. But
What?
that's
What book?
next year.
What book? I'm curious now. You're not gonna tell
I'm
me?
going to talk about this book.
Okay.
The characters are wonderful, but I really wanted him to read this because I think it is so incredibly well written. It has a love story
I do love stories.
as the center. No one cheats on anyone,
I
which is
also love
one
that.
of
That's
Gavin's
great.
main criteria. in
That's
the book.
helpful. That's helpful. Now I unwrap it, and I definitely don't know what this book is. It's not like
Except he knows what this book is because.
you've been asking me to
Dun, dun, dun,
forever.
dun.
The Time Traveler's Wife. This is a long book. It's like a.
No, it's not.
It's like 600 pages. It does have the cool, the rough and edges, which I like when they do that to books, but you don't seem to care.
It is such a powerful book. And what is going to be really fun is that he's actually going to read it. And then we're going to do a video about how I was right and how he loved it and how he
Yes.
wishes that he would have read it sooner.
You're probably right.
I'm probably right. And anyone else who has read The Time Traveler's Wife knows exactly what I mean. And do not watch the movie. The movie's lousy. And do not waste
I
your
could do a
time
video.
making a video about how lousy the movie is.
What do you mean waste my time?
Isn't he so adorable? I wish we
trying to
could
be-
put a baby
Probably
photo up.
business right now. We could put a baby.
Do we look
photo up.
like?
We could put a baby photo up if you want.
We used to look like.
We still look alike. I just have more cold lighting on me right now, and you have more warm lighting over
Mm.
there. Yeah, thank you. And I will go read the first 3 chapters and give it a rating, and then I will read the rest of
And
it.
in the comments, if you would ever like to do an Ask Me Anything about Gavin, you request that, and that will be so much fun.
Okay. This is a bad look for me. The premise for The Time Traveler's Wife is super interesting. The story follows the lives of 2 people. One is a man named Henry who has a genetic condition that causes him to travel throughout time in his own life. The other person is his wife, Claire. Claire meets Henry when she is 6 years old and he is 36 years old. Claire married Henry when she was 22 and he is 30. Do you see the paradox here? I have to actually read my script for this because it is so confusing. Henry meets Claire for the first time when he is 28 and she is 20, but at that point she has already known him for 14 years despite the fact that he hasn't met her yet. Bro, my brain is broken. I do think the coolest thing about it is just how paradoxical it is. Like, I know what my mom means when she says it's really expertly written because it's such a complicated theme. And in that first chapter, when Henry meets her for his very first time at 28, Claire almost gives him a panic attack because she like info drops all this stuff on him. She's like, yeah, we're gonna get married. And he's like, who are you? Overall, I have to admit my mom was right. It's a good book. 5 stars for those first 2 chapters, and I'm sorry, Mom. I will keep reading it, I promise. Now, on to tomorrow, where we have an actual book character choose my read. Yep, you heard me right. You'll see. Today is the day of Gabriel Michael. He's not a creator in the same sense that some of the last few were, but he does create. Let me just play you an audio clip.
But you and I are exactly that. Violence. We're chained.
Did the graphic audio voice actor for Lucian from ACOTAR and Xaden Riorson pick a book for me? Yes. Yes, he did. So let's see what he has to say.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Actor Gabriel Michael here.
Pause. This is already it's so interesting to hear his voice because it is his voice, and I'm just like, whoa.
And I'm just popping in to tell you the book that I chose is On the Road by Jack
On the Road,
Kerouac.
okay.
This copy of the book was actually sent to me by a fan,
Awesome.
and my work at Graphic Audio. And She also sent me a copy of Howl's Moving Castle.
See, Howl's Moving Castle was his original suggestion, but the problem is I do already own this. And it's like a super pretty copy. It's the Fairy Loot edition. This book is amazing and the movie is even better. And you know what? I would talk about it more, but I do intend on making a video similar to my Good Girls Guide to Murder video where I compare the book to the movie. So keep your eyes out for that. I'm getting off topic again, okay? We gotta move on.
I am familiar with On the Road because I saw the film
when I was
around 19 years old. And it just inspired me to write this like 20-page long form narrative about my musings of growing up and moving out west. A good story is a story that really takes you on a ride and you can get lost in it. And nothing takes you on a ride more than a literal cross-country road trip with two friends who are both like chasing this meaning of their existence. And
that sounds deep.
It's a tearjerker. It's a serious title.
I'm scared.
It has a very rustic feel to it. Characters with many labors, many pains, many dreams, both idyllic and disillusioned and jaded. A
little bit like me.
I chose this book and I hope you read it and I hope you enjoy it too.
Thank you. Okay, so we already know how I feel about classics, but you know, we have also been disproven today twice. Well, I guess technically it was one time with Agatha Christie and then also Christmas Carol, but that wasn't part of this video. So something very cool about this book. This came out in 1957, right? And this edition was published in 1999. This physical book that I'm holding is older than I am. And that's so cool to me. This was before the turn of the century. People were reading this and they thought the world was gonna end in the year. That's crazy to me. Basically, what I've gathered from what Gabriel said is that I'm gonna cry. But you know what? It wouldn't be the first time Xaden made me cry. Once again, thank you, Gabriel. You're freaking awesome. And let me go read this book. So the first line already punched me in the gut. I first met Dean not long after my wife and I split up. You cannot be throwing divorce in the face of a hopeless romantic like that. So there's this character named Dean, right? And I have a little bit of a problem because, you know, I'm a Supernatural fan. So in my head, Dean looks like Dean. So I am sorry, Jack Kerouac, author from over 100 years ago. Jensen Ackles just owns that name now. I don't know what's going on with me, okay? These classics are good. This book sounded boring, I'm sorry, but it isn't. Now, I will be honest, I'm not sure if this is a book I am ready to read right now in my life, but it is 100% one that I want to return to. At the moment in my life, I feel a bit stagnant and isolated, so this type of book about like coming of age and taking a big journey isn't really resonating with me because I feel stuck right here. Rating-wise, I don't really know. Like I hope this doesn't find you as 2 stars, I think, and I would rather read that book than this one right now. But that makes it sound like this is a bad book, and this isn't a bad book. I just feel like classics need their own rating category. On a classic scale, these 3 chapters would be a 4-star. But on the normal book scale, I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I know I've given a lot of 3 stars, but I think that makes sense considering the fact that 3 stars is like right in the middle of the average. So there's gonna be more 3 stars than 1 stars and 5 stars. I haven't given any 1 stars, but that's because most of the people I chose have decent taste. They would never recommend me a Colleen Hoover book. I say that as if I've read more than a single chapter of any of her books. Gabriel, I think this is going to be a book that I read in the next 3 years, and when I do, it will hit like a bus. Right now, feeling a bit behind in life doesn't really encapsulate those, you know, moving out vibes. Have you seen this economy? Thanks again, and on to the next book. Good morning, all. Today we have another audience book, and I think this one's going to be unique. From what I know about Corey, he seems to lean more sci-fi than fantasy, which means we may be going a new direction this time. He says it's a sci-fi multiverse journey that takes you by the hand and doesn't let go until the last line of the book. It will have you question how much of yourself you're willing to sacrifice to get back to what matters most to your heart. Bro, this sounds like a sci-fi romance a little bit. I'm thinking like the main character gets stranded on a different planet or time or spaceship and has to get back to his wife. Unless, you know, what matters most to his heart is not his wife and instead it's like snacks or 17th century poetry. It appears my mom got me a used copy with no dust jacket. But right here is the book of the month insignia and it says August 2016. So let's go see what books were from August 2016. Circling the Sun, The Woman in Cabin 10, Dark Matter, An Ugly Beautiful Thing. It's Dark Matter. Oh yeah, it says Dark Matter right here. Why did I not think to look at the spine? Since there's no dust jacket, there's no blurb to even look at. So I basically just have to dive into this and hope it's good. The first line is I love Thursday nights, which is already crazy because Friday nights are the best nights, but I'll give it a try. This book is so cool. It feels like such a unique story. It tackles the question of what if your life went completely differently? And to be honest, it feels a little bit like a Christopher Nolan movie, which kind of bums me out because I know it did get a TV series and apparently it's not the greatest adaptation ever. And I'm just like, give the book to Nolan. He'd probably do crazy stuff with it. But you know, I haven't read the whole thing, so maybe I'm wrong. Basically, this story is about a man who was and still is very intelligent. Similar to me, to be honest, you know, I could probably do physics pretty well. But life came along and instead of becoming a world-renowned physicist, he becomes a father and teacher. And then one day he gets kidnapped and wakes up in a reality where everything is different. His wife isn't his wife and his son doesn't exist. That's probably obvious. If his wife isn't his wife, then he couldn't have the kid. But here in this reality, he is a famous genius who achieved the impossible. And despite having his potential fulfilled, he still wants more than anything to return to his family. But the scariest part of it all is one simple question. Which reality is real? It's heavy, it's sci-fi, it is right up my alley. Yes, I am a massive fantasy fan, that is undeniable. But something about sci-fi just tickles all the right places in my brain. I just love how much these types of books push my imagination. And all the best sci-fi books I've read have always had this underlying theme that just makes you go like, what? So, Corey, Dark Matter gets 4 stars. I am, however, probably going to return this copy and buy a new one that actually has a cover, because this is not going to look very good on my bookshelf. And I am nothing if not a material girl, okay? Now, to be on theme, I'm going to walk off camera, and the next time you see me, I'm going to be dressed like a father. So I may or may not have bad news. I tried desperately to find a dad fit, but I just don't have it in my closet. I couldn't find cargo pants, cargo shorts. I guess that means I'm very fashionable. I did, however, get socks and sandals, so I'm already halfway there, to be honest. So I did opt to just wear all black in an attempt to replicate a different kind of dad. I'm not gonna elaborate on that. But the reason I even said I was gonna do that is because this book is chosen by Bookish Dad Reads. Now, I do want to make it clear, I'm not saying you're not fashionable, man. It was just like a dad thing. It has nothing to do with you in particular. It's just because dad is in your name. Anyways, I'm very curious about this book because what actually happened is my mom took this and started reading it before she gave it to me. I'm like really curious what this book is now. So let's see what he has to say.
I'm recommending you read this book because it converted me into a romance girl. Slay all day, bae. I don't know if that's possible, but this book is just everything. It is just bantering. Like, the banter is top tier. The character arcs are fantastic. The relationship that builds between these characters is just, ooh, it's just wicked. It made me cry. It made me laugh. It made me scream at the book. It made me happy. It just gave me all the emotions. Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez is absolutely a must-read if you like fantasy. And even if you don't, read it anyway, because before this, I was going to pick Dungeon Crawler Carl, but now, read this one.
Fair enough. Okay, thank you, Bookish Dad Reads. I appreciate it. So I do recognize the name of the author, and it makes sense now that my mom was reading it because she likes romance books. Let's see. Ooh, I'm going to put the cover up there for you to look at because what I'm seeing right now is a guy wearing orange, which I look very good in, with a beard like I have, and curly hair, which I have, with a goat next to him, and I'm the goat, obviously, holding hands with a redhead. So I think this book might just be my dream life. I'm actually super excited to read this, so let me stop putting it off and get to reading. It's charming. It starts like one bad thing happens and it's kind of funny. And then our FMC is like, okay, I'm gonna do this to help fix this one bad thing a little bit. But then her trying to fix it makes it worse because something else happens and it just all gets even funnier. So I was already chuckling a good amount in this first chapter, which is a great sign. The plot of this book is basically city girl with lots of expectations on her shoulders meets charming, laid back farm guy. Well, he's a carpenter, but same vibe. So this book is basically a Hallmark movie if it was a book and not cringe and actually pretty good. The banter is witty, the writing is charming, and I must admit, I'm already pretty invested in this story. Yes, it might be formulaic, okay, but it's a damn good formula. And the MMC seems to genuinely respect women. Wait, he's not toxic? That's a pretty good trait to have, I must say. There is one thing that we need to talk about though. One of the MMC's friends seems to be in love with the bartender, who is unfortunately married. But when her police officer husband walks into the bar, for a moment, it kind of seems like she's not really messing with him, like she might be in a bit of a rough spot with the guy. So here is my hope, and I have zero evidence reinforcing this, that's why it's just a hope. I hope her husband sucks. Hear me out. And then they get divorced and she gets to be with the guy who's obviously in love with her. That would be so cute. I know I'm a hopeless romantic who just 2 days ago complained about divorce in books, but if he's a jerk, come on, bring it on. I want joy, baby. I want happiness. So my final rating for the first 3 chapters of Part of Your World, which is totally a reference to The Little Mermaid now that I think about it, is 5 stars. Yep, this is a 5-star read so far. I am locked into this story. It's literally in my life. I've done some woodwork stuff before, so I'm basically a carpenter. Now, this is a one-off, except it's part of like an anthology series that have interconnected characters, but you can just read it as one book. I also have a lot of friends who read the most recent book in this series, and they liked it a lot, so I might be starting my contemporary romance kick in 2025. But enough about this beautiful and cute and adorable book. We have something else to talk about. We still have our honorable mention. And I want to start off with a video from a fellow creator and author, Andy Darcy Theo. His pick was awesome, but you'll see.
Hi Gavin and everyone, and thank you so much for including me in this.
Thank you for taking part.
These book recommendations, and there are 3, because it's a trilogy, and you can't miss a single one. Have defined my personality, have been something that I've recommended to every single person who would dare listen to me.
As you should.
And it's just absolutely fantastic. It is a young adult series. It is mystery adventure. The second book is a sequel where things only escalate. All I'm going to say about the third book is when you get halfway through, you're going to realize what the cover means. And it's all going to be absolutely, it's going to make so much sense. There's been a TV adaptation of the first book. There's going to be a second series coming out for the book 2 as well. And of course, without any further ado, the book series is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Book 1, book 2, and book 3. You are missing out so much if you haven't read these books. These are books,
seriously are, guys.
Books that actually warrant the success. You're welcome.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Now, if you have not figured it out, the reason I did not dedicate an entire day to his pick is because I've already read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. For the sake of authenticity, I didn't want to just lie and pretend I hadn't, and I couldn't have gotten away with it anyways because the biggest video I've made to date is the video where I compare A Good Girl's Guide to Murder to the Netflix adaptation, which was not a great show, but if you want to hear about that, you can watch the video there. I really wanted to still talk about it because it is an amazing series and you need to read it if you haven't, and it's one of the best young adult mysteries out there. So thank you, Andy, for your pick. And as for the other honorable mentions, one of my best friends, Leah, did tell me to read Crescent City. I'm not going to. I'm still reading Throne of Glass. I cannot start another Sarah J. Maas series in the middle of a Sarah J. Maas series. So thank you, Leah, for your thoughtful suggestion, but I will not be reading it. And we had a couple community picks that I didn't get to, like the crime thriller The Hypnotist by Lars Kepler from Aline, or Daughter of No Worlds from Jessica. I do love Carissa Broadbent though, so that book is already on my TBR. Do not worry, Jessica. I promise I'm gonna read it. I pinky swear. And finally, I really need to mention Spaghetti, because Spaghetti suggested Quicksilver right after Fantasy Fangirls suggested Quicksilver, and I just need Spaghetti to know that they have good taste. And now I have a good idea of every single book in this stack. And that was our Bookish Evan video. And to be honest, this book still smells like perfume, so I'm gonna put it over there. This video turned out to be pretty long, so if you want to see the bloopers and outtakes, you can head on over to my Patreon. There's a lot of bloopers, I made a lot of mistakes, and I dropped more than one book. And don't be mad, there is no one more ashamed of me than myself right now. And if you want to see me live, you can check me out on Twitch or here. I've started streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, so come hang out. And thank you once again to everybody who helped me create this video. It has been so fun to work with other creators to create an entire video like this. I look forward to working with you all again in the future. So Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. And I almost forgot. Deuces.